I would like to request all the brothers and the sisters who are in the back to please make their way forward so that the people that come later on, they have a spot and they don't disturb the majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now I'd like to request Brother Moiz Hussain to please come up and begin this program with the recitation of the Holy Quran. Please welcome him with 3 loud salawats.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا وضربنا على الكهف سنين عددا ثم بعثناهم لنعلم أي الحزبين أحصى لما لبثوا أمدا نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى وربطنا على قلوبهم إذ قاموا فقالوا ربنا رب السماوات والأرض لن ندعو من دونه لقد كنا إذا شططا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
Sent. Please send another loud salawat for Brother Moise. Next up, I'd like to call upon Sister Zahra Al-Sahlani to recite a poem. Please welcome him with 3 loud salawats.
Assalamu alaikum. This is a poem of the day of Ashura from the perspective of Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. This picture for you I'll paint so you may see the day of Ashura. I am Ali ibn al-Hussein, the son who survived Karbala. I survived only because I was ill with all that I tried. That was God's will. Whatever you think you know of this day is not half of what I could say. The skies were red like blood. This was the hardest night we faced. What was the battlefield hours ago is now a graveyard of bodies displaced. After they killed my friends, after they slaughtered my brothers, after they beheaded my father, they came for our mothers. 33 spears, swords were 34, 120 arrows, and even more. Was that not enough in his body slain? It wasn't. They said, "We want to see your woman in pain." They placed his head on a spear and paraded it like a prize. The children screamed in fear, "Listen, can't you hear?" They trampled upon his body with the hooves of their horses. On one man they unleashed all their forces. I saw my father. I saw my father cut down by the thousands. I couldn't stop their swords. I couldn't stop them. I couldn't stop them. They showered us with arrows of fire. They launched them gladly into the air. They set the tents ablaze, and they wouldn't stop there. They wouldn't stop there as the children ran between fire. They cracked their whips on our daughters. Their wrists would not tire. Can you hear how the children cried? The thirst is nothing to them now. And what if the children that died? Will you remember them now? Remember us and do not fail. You have a choice to share this tragic tale. In these nights that come, the children do not forget them, for the enemies are far from done. What awaits us is a palace dungeon. No one came to aid or defend as we scorched under the sun. This is far from the end. The tragedy has just begun. Salawat.
Ahsan, please send another loud salawat for Sister Zahra. Just a few quick announcements. The daily programs will continue until Tuesday, July 8th, and it's going to be like usual. It's going to start with Salatul Ghariban, and the Majalises will be starting at 9:30, inshallah. Al-Iman School is hiring a full-time Islamic studies teacher, and Al-Iman School is also offering 50% off for students that are enrolled in Saturday school. Also, please don't forget to contribute and donate generously to the program. That's what helps us to keep the center going and having more programs like this, inshallah. Also, if anybody wants to sponsor any majalises or niyas, please reach out to the volunteers, the brothers in the back. Also, please do not bring any food inside the conference room. Outside, it was a different story, but in here, there's no food allowed. And if you do bring, please clean up after yourself and cooperate with the volunteers in keeping this area clean and organized. Also, if anybody wants to recite at any of the majalises for the next 2 days, you could sign up using the QR codes. Now, without further ado, I'd like to call upon Hujjatul Islam Sheikh Ja'far Muhibullah to deliver the sermon of Sham Ghariba. Please welcome him with 3 loud salawats. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ومولاي. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ومولاي وابن مولاي. صلى الله عليك أيها الشهيد وابن الشهيد. صلى الله عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. صلى الله عليك يا عبد الله. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله وعلى جدك وأبيك وعلى أمك وأخيك وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذريتك لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين. السلام على من هتكت حرمته. Peace and salutations be upon Imam Hussein, our master. Peace and salutations be upon the Shaheed of Karbala, son of the Shohada. Peace and salutations be upon Abu Abdillah, the one who was oppressed and his life was snatched away in Karbala. Peace and salutations upon our Mawla Abu Abdillah, upon his grandfather Rasulullah and his father Ali al-Murtada. Peace and salutations upon Imam al-Hussein and his mother Fatima al-Zahra and brother Hassan al-Mujtaba. Peace and salutations upon Abu Abdullah and the Imams and his lineage, especially Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman. Peace and salutations upon the one whose home, his tents, they were raided after he was martyred in Ghariban. Again tonight is Sham Ghariban, the lonely and strange night. Not a moment of giving lectures or speech, but I want to mention one of the hadith of Ahlul Bayt. This is the hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen. It was a moment when he was washing and giving ghusl to Rasulullah. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said, غسلت النبي في قميصه فكانت فاطمة تقول أرني القميص. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said, when he was given ghusl and washing the body of Rasulullah, that there was a qamis, there was a shirt, there was a shroud that was over the body of Rasulullah. After he washed the body of Rasulullah, Fatima al-Zahra, she asked Amir al-Mu'mineen. She said, "Oh my husband, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, give me this qamis, show me the shroud that you washed the body of my father in." He said, when I gave it to Fatima al-Zahra, فَإِذَا شَمَّتْهُ غُشِيَ عَلَيْهَا فَلَمَّا رَأَيْتُ ذَلِكَ غَيَّبْتُ. He said that when I gave this shirt to Fatima al-Zahra, she smelled the fragrance of the Rasulullah. And what happened? She fainted from smelling the fragrance of Rasulullah. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said when he saw this, from that moment on he hid this shirt from Fatima al-Zahra. He didn't want her to be fainting, remembering Rasulullah. But look what happened to Zainab. That what happened to Imam Hussein was that covered from the eyes of Zainab. She saw her brother in the place where he was martyred. But not only this, they say that even in the aftermath of Karbala, she saw her brother's head that was put upon the lance and the spear. Ashaddu Kufa and Sham and Damascus. And in Damascus, what did she see happening to the head of her brother, to the head of Imam Hussein? That the very head that the Rasulullah that he would kiss, that it was being struck by the whip of the La'in as Yazid. This is a lonely and strange night. That Zainab, that no wonder she would faint as well throughout these moments. And if Fatima Zahra just had the smell of Rasulullah's shirt, that how many times that Zainab would probably faint at what she saw. After the sight of her brother being martyred, she raised her hands to the sky and she said, تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا هَذَا الْقُرْبَانِ. Do Allah accept this sacrifice from the household of Rasulullah. They said the tyrants didn't wait long. The tyrants stormed the camp with fire and greed. They said one, it was perhaps Umar bin Sa'd. He says, إِحْرِقُوا بُيُوتَ الظَّالِمِينَ. He called the household of Rasulullah oppressors. He said to burn the house, burn the tents of the household of Rasulullah. Some of those who give the maqtal as well, they said that what happened here in Karbala, it was only a reflection of what happened in Medina. They said if that fire wasn't lit in Medina, then perhaps this fire wouldn't have been lit in Karbala to burn the tents, to burn the homes of the Ahlul Bayt. There was a moment again where the house of the Ahlul Bayt was set on fire, and that was the house of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq. They said that when he finally put that fire out with the help of some companions, they said Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he began to cry. Some of the companions, they were looking at Imam Sadiq. They say, Ya bin Rasulullah, that we put out this fire, there's no more danger. That why are you sad and why are you sad and crying? Then Imam Sadiq, he responded. He said that when we were putting out this fire, when this fire was roaring, he said, I saw the women of my house running from room to room, trying to flee from the burning fire. And then I remember my grandfather, the Karuj Jaddi Abi Abidillah. I remember my grandfather Imam Hussein in Karbala. I remembered my aunt in Karbala. That when the fire was set to the tents, there was no one to put them out. There was no one to help with them. So they must have been running too, but without any help. They said that when those tents were set on fire, that even Zainab Kubra, she went to Imam Zain al-Abidin. She told Imam Zain al-Abidin that the tents are on fire. And Imam Zain al-Abidin, he could not help them. What did he say? He says, Alaykum bil firar, that you have to run away from this fire. The tents storm, the tyrants storm the tents with fire and greed. They looted the tents and mocked every noble deed. They were taking what they could. They say that even in one moment that the earrings were snatched from the little girl. That little girl, as some have said in the Maqtal, was Sukaina. They said that when this man, he came forth, she asked that, what are you doing? Do you not know that I am the daughter of Rasulullah? He said yes. While crying, he still snatched him. She said, why are you doing this? He said, if I don't take them, then someone else will take them. The women wept as flames consumed the night. Their hearts in chains, their tears are a mournful sight. Zainab stood firm, though sorrow pierced her soul. Her cries of grief like a thunder's mournful roll. The orphans wailed, the orphans cried. أين العباس? Where is our Abbas? Oh Abbas, where are you? They cried and well, Wa Hussein. They cried and well, Wa Ali. They were calling the marchers, but there was no response. They were all upon the plains of Karbala. The sands of Karbala had drank blood and pain. Its tale repeated to each grieving strain. Through the ages, hence mourners still recite their lamentations, echoing through the night. And what a strange and lonely night. Let me describe this night for you, the Sham Ghariban, in the shadow of Karbala's moonlit gloom, where sorrow's tears adorn night's womb, lay the martyred Hussein, the noble soul. His sacrifice is the tale that forever unfolds. The battlefield was silent, but grief echoed loud, as stars wept in the heavens, a sorrowful shroud. With the blood-stained sand his body lay, while heaven's angels wept for him, they say. The night veiled the earth in a cloak of despair, as Zainab bin Sukaina felt anguish's snare. The women wept, hearts heavy with pain. Their cries pierced the skies like mournful rain. Yet amidst the grief, a scene so serene, a sight that in the darkest hours is seen. What was that sight? They said, oh, the orphan, the children, Hussein's legacy, amidst the chaos found strength and unity. Where did that strength come from? Zainab, the sister, a beacon of grace, led the broken souls in that sacred place. She went to gather the children and women to bring them all in one place. This is presented in a very beautiful poem, but sad poem in Farsi. It says, Bisus Eidil, Bisus Eidil, Shab Shami Gharibanas. Hearts are burning, oh, hearts are burning in this strange and lonely night. Why are their hearts burning in this strange and lonely night? Sahra bi kafanim shab tan pak shahidanas. Martyrs are without shrouds and ghusl on the desert plain tonight. So on this night, the hearts are burning. The hearts are burning this night for the heart of Zainab. Why are the hearts burning and heavy for Zainab? Zainab in this strange and lonely night, she was running here and there, gathering the children. Let me tell you the story about two of the children that she came across, and this is in the Maqatal. She saw two young boys. She called out to them. These two young boys were laying in the sand. She said, that come here, come to your auntie. But they did not move. There was no movement. She kept calling them. And then when she went near, she saw that these young little boys, their chests were buried in the sand. They went to escape the heat of Karbala. So they dug a place for themselves and placed themselves in that sand. And that is where their life was ended by the heat and thirst of Karbala. There was one moment as well as Zainab. She's running here and there to find her children, to bring them all together. At one moment she did not see Sakina. She began to search in the darkness of the night. Ya Sakina, yeah. Where are you? But where did she find Sakina? He said Sakina, she was that young daughter of Imam Hussein, that every night she would sleep upon the chest of Imam Hussein. So likewise in this night, Zainab, she found her laying on the chest of her father. But one may wonder that how does she know this was the chest of her father? None of the Jawaris, none of them had heads, but she knew the chest of her father, Imam Hussein. When Zainab got her and woke her up, she said to Zainab, her auntie, that I saw my father in a dream, and he had a message for us. He had a message for his Shia. What was that message that Sukaina was conveying from the dream of Imam Hussein? She said, her father said, Ya Shiyati, ma in shirbitum ma in adibin fadhkuruni. This message was this, that, oh my Shia, oh my followers, all the ones who love Hussein and his Ahlul Bayt, whenever you drink cold water, remember me. Whenever you drink that cold water, remember Hussein on the plains of Karbala. Remember Hussein and remember that sacrifice. Remember the household of Imam Hussein. There was also one person that Zainab she went to look for on this strange and lonely night. After she gathered the children, she noticed that one lady, one mother was missing. This was Rabab, and the Maqtal says that Zainab went in this dark and lonely night looking for Rabab, the mother of Ali al-Asghar, the mother of Abdullah Radi. She found her wandering in the desert. Why was she wandering in the desert? She says, I'm looking for my baby. Because after the night had fallen, she was able to get a sip of water. When she drank that sip of water, her milk began to flow. She said, در اللبن في صدري فجأت لأرضع ولدي. That look at the trauma that they had faced. Although Ali al-Asghar had been martyred on that day, he says, my milk is flowing, that perhaps now I can quench this thirst. But the thirst of Ali al-Asghar had been quenched with an arrow through his neck. Bisuz Eidil, Shabshami Ghariban. Hearts are burning, oh hearts are burning on this strange and lonely night. Hearts are burning tonight for the heart of Zainab. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ay munqalibi yanqalibun. Once again we recited this Musibah of Imam Zaman as he gave his salutations to Imam Hussein. Assalamu ala bin Khatim al-Anbiya. Peace and salutations upon the son of the final prophet. Assalamu ala bin Sayyid al-Awsiya. Peace and salutations be upon Hussein, the son of Ali al-Murtada. Assalamu ala ibn Fatima al-Zahra. Peace and salutations upon the son of Fatima al-Zahra. Assalamu ala ibn Khadijah al-Kubra. Peace and salutations upon the son of Khadijah. Assalamu ala ibn Sijrat al-Muntaha. Peace and salutations on the furthest boundary of heavens that treat us in heaven. Assalamu ala ibn Jannat al-Ma'awa. Peace and salutations upon the son of the paradise. Sayyid al-Shuhada, the master of paradise. Assalamu ala al-Murammin ibn Dima. Peace and salutations upon the one who was drenched in his own bloods on the plains of Ghariban. And then this night, the bodies remained upon the plains, drenched and soaked in their own blood. Assalamu ala al-Mahtuk al-Khiba. Peace and salutations upon the one whose tents were set on fire, whose tents were looted in this night. Assalamu ala al-Ajsad al-Ariyat. Peace and salutations upon those bodies that were not given shroud. They were not shrouded and buried in this night. You see, the La'in, the army of Yazid, they buried their dead. But they left the bodies of the Shuhada of Karbala without a shroud, without a burial. Assalamu ala al-Jusum al-Shahibat. Peace and salutations upon those bodies that were pelled. Assalamu ala ad-Dima al-Sa'ilat. Peace and salutations upon the Shuhada of Karbala, whose blood ran on the plains of Karbala. Assalamu ala al-A'dha al-Muqatta'at. Peace and salutations upon those limbs that were severed from their bodies. The heads of the Shuhada were severed. The women and children, they were looking at what happened. They were mourning those severed limbs. They were mourning that the limbs of Abdullah were severed. They were mourning that the limbs, the arms of Abul Fadl al-Abbas were taken. Assalamu ala Rus al-Mushaghalat. Peace and salutations upon their heads that were raised upon the spears. They said in this night what happened. That they raised their heads upon the spears. And where did they put them? They put them in front of the women and children. So this was a night that was a sleepless night. How could they sleep with the heads of their loved ones on the spears before them? Assalamu ala niswat al-barizat. Peace and salutations upon the women who had no protection in this night. Their loved ones had sacrificed their lives. There was no one to help them, no one to aid them. Assalamu ala qatil al-mazlum. Peace and salutations upon those who were slain and oppressed on the plains of Karbala. Assalamu ala akhihi al-masmum. That peace and salutations upon his brother Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, upon the children of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba who was slain in the plains of Karbala. Assalamu ala Ali al-Kabir. Peace and salutations upon the one who looked most like Rasulullah, Ali al-Akbar. Assalamu ala Radi' al-Saghir. Peace and salutations upon that young baby who still needed the mother's milk. The mother's milk that had dried up, and only in this night it came back. Assalamu ala al-abdan as-sanib. Peace and salutations upon those bodies that were plundered. Assalamu ala al-madfoonin bila akfan. Peace and salutations upon those bodies that were not given any shroud. Assalamu ala rus al-mufarrakati al-abdan. Peace and salutations upon those heads that were taken, those heads that were placed upon the spears and lances. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم بحق هذا المجلس الزينبي اغفر ذنوبنا واستر عيوبنا وقضي حوائجنا واشفي مرضانا وارحم أمواتنا وعجل فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان واجعلنا من أعوانه وانصاره والمستشهدين بين يديه وتحت لوائه حق محمد وآل الطاهرين. يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين. Everyone, يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया आबिद बचावा याग बुझावा आबिद बचावा याग बुझावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो यूसुफ तो सोने मेरे वीरे मारे मैं शाम चलिया बेकफन सारे. यूसुफ तो सोने मेरे वीरे मारे मैं शाम चलिया बेकफन सारे. कबरा बनावा या रसिया पावा कबरा बनावा या रसिया पावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेहदी बचावन विच शाम आई सब लोग वेखन मेरी बेरदाई. मेहदी बचावन विच शाम आई सब लोग वेखन मेरी बेरदाई. खुतबे सुनावा या मुलुकावा खुतबे सुनावा या मुलुकावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. मेरा घर जलाया लुटिया रे दावा रो अखे ज़ैनब किस पास जावा. खैमे च कासिम दी लाश आई चुम चुम के टुकड़े कब्जा रजाई खैमे च कासिम दी लाश आई चुम चुम के टुकड़े कब्जा रजाई हुन सैर लावा या सब बिछावा हुन सैर लावा या सब बिछावा रो के ज़ैनब किस पास जावा मेरा घर जलाया लुटियां रे दावा रो के ज़ैनब किस पास जावा मेरा घर जलाया लुटियां रे दावा रो के ज़ैनब किस पास जावा या हुसैन
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد وتوجه زيارة السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي المجتبى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر لحظ مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين زين العابدين السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الباكر السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد الصادق السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر الكاظم السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء السلام عليك يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى الرضا السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي التقي الجواد السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد الهادي النقي السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي العسكري السلام عليك يا حجة بن الحسن القائم المنتظر المهدي يا صاحب العصر والزمان السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا كامل الكفر والطغيان السلام عليك يا دافع الظلم والعدوان أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وأينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين